Hey, how's it going guys? Aaron here, back with another video. So for once, I am early for my Q&A session. Alright, so let's get this up before October ends. Right, since this is the Q&A session for the month of October. Right, so without further ado, let's bring in those questions. So let's get the easier question out of the way first, shall we? Right, so Nicholas Chen asks here, how do you manage to balance CG and TOS game time? Right, so basically now, after the release of Chronos Gate, I basically have to balance between two main games. I can't really call it a main game because main can only be one, right? So I'm balancing between TOS Xirius as well as Chronos Gate. Right? I'm playing both of them pretty much as equal, right? So basically what I do is, because TOS I'm at its late game phase, I would call it, meaning that I have pretty much completed every single thing in TOS, basically weekly battles, those extra battles at the Traveler's Memory, as well as the story, which is all the way at 9th Seal as of now, right? Meaning that what I have left to do every week for TOS is basically the new weekly battle if there's any, or new ultimate stage if there's any, and that's it. There's nothing much content in TOS unless there is like guild event or joint operation. So there's nothing much to kind of rush for TOS Xirius, which is where I put most of my focus in Chronos Gate. So now that my Chronos Gate is at pretty much the end game phase until they update something, right? I'm just pretty much chasing whatever that is out for that particular week. So I'm at a phase whereby there is actually very little things to do for both games, right? I'm pretty much like at the very end, just waiting for new contents. So it's quite comfortable for me for these two games, right? So if you guys are playing TOS Xirius, maybe mid game, I'll call it, whereby you still have a bit of extras to clear in the Traveler's Memory or story mode, or you have not cleared your 9th Seal, just try to clear them off as fast as possible, and then you realize that there is actually very little things to do every week, right? So yeah, basically as what I say, both games are pretty much an end game phase now for me, so very little things to do for both games. Right, so next question from HL Ho. Right, so he asks, where am I originated from? So to answer your question, I'm here in Singapore, right? So this channel is pretty much a Singapore-based channel, offering tips and strategies for TOS Xirius and Chronos Gate, right? So to answer your second question, how to make the best Fire Yen team, of course, the wedding Fire Yen, of course. So this is my current setup, which I think is brilliant, right? If you guys can see it. So basically, Fire Yen Media, we have the Fire Wine Valkyrie, as well as Rococo and Himdall. Alright, Himdall. So this is basically a power pack team, right? So we have Himdall to convert all the heart runes to fire drops, and then how am I gonna heal is basically toggling the Fire Yens to convert heart runes, or you can use Rococo, Swastika convert to get heart to recover as well. And on top of that, you have the Fire Wine Valkyrie for boost as well as damage reduction, because fire team usually have very low HP, and yeah, you're using that to do any sort of damage reduction if needed, right? So absolutely a beast team, right? Considering if there is no neutralize and reset, right, that team is the way to go. Right, so next, Natty asks, since 12 Zodiac Extra is now outdated, do you think that they should improve it? I hope that they will bring up the myth of Zodiac number 13 in it too. Right, so personally, I do agree part of what you say, right? They should improve it, but I'm not very sure about the 13 Zodiac, because that's gonna, screw up the entire thing. Then they gotta make a new card, and then the PR version, because Zodiacs are really PR and stuff like that, right? So what I feel is that they can indeed add an extra difficulty on top of the extra. I mean, since we have elite weekly battle, right? They can put elite difficulty for the 12 zodiacs, right? Since we can fight their PR form, since the extra difficulty now is pretty much their evolve form and not the power release form, so they can indeed put another difficulty on top if they want to, kind of to reintroduce the 12 zodiacs and stuff like that. But that's all up to Madhead, and they probably should put a warning sign that this is added in way later than the 12 zodiacs, so that they do not get a shock and attempt the elite mode and elite difficulty and like, holy shit, what a great jump of difficulty, you know what I mean? Yeah, so maybe they can kind of go back to the old stages like the Investiture of Gods, as well as what's next, Fort Sterling and stuff like that, right? Good, pretty good idea. Maybe I should feedback to that, to Madhead. Why do I get so many of these questions? Seriously, they're like all so similar that I decided to put them together and then answer all of you at once. Right, so you can see mainly the question is surrounding the character Cassandra or the cosplayer. Alright, so let's go one by one. Sean, he asked, do you like Medea or Circe equally to Cassandra, or is she your only one? Right, not sure whether you're referring to the cosplayers or the card. Okay, so, and also, do you recommend this team? Okay, let me answer your question first, right? Barbara, Medusa, Byaki, Mufasa, Yun Yang, and Nihok. That's a pretty good setup, right? No need for change. I think that team is pretty much good to go, right? So, for the center question, right? Why are you like Cassandra so much? Or kind of get what you mean. Hold on. And we have Elvin, right? Ask me, why do you like Cassandra so much? Right? Will you call Xiao Xue to live stream with you? Right? If you guys do not know who is Xiao Xue is aka Weenie, aka the cosplayer that cosplay Cassandra. Right? So, okay, to answer the main question here. How do I come to have a liking to this particular card or this cosplayer is because the very first time I actually found out that Madhead events at Taiwan or Hong Kong, they're having this cosplay contest, and then there's a website for voting and stuff like that. So I went on and take a look at all the cosplayers, and she's the one that caught my eye, right? Like, out of all, I mean, I did not choose her because of the character, as in Cassandra, the character, right? But the way she represents the character, right? That's what I wanted to say. So there is a certain beauty she has, to represent that character, and I think it is a very fantastic thing. So she's the one that caught my eye. So it's just that feeling. It's like, oh, she's the one, that kind of thing. But to be honest, to go down to Taipei or Taiwan to really watch the entire thing live is a whole new feeling, right? So if you guys are, in Taiwan or stuff like that, go down, take a look at the event whenever they have any event, right? You'll see that it is a whole new experience comparing it to watching it live on YouTube. Trust me, I've been there. I'm telling you now, right? So yeah, so when I call her to live stream with me, I'm not that close of a friend to her. And she's like busy. she's working, she's a model and stuff like that, so highly unlikely. I'm in Singapore, she's in Taiwan. Pretty much long distance relationship. Nah, kidding. all her fans are gonna come after me, right? So yeah, we're just I'm just you can call it a fan, just a fan of hers, right? So shall I say any more? Let's move on to the next question. And why am I not surprised that I have this question in the Q&A session every single month, right? I'm not even surprised anymore. So, what do you think will be the next PR or VR series, right? Since you predicted it many times and gotten it correct. I can't possibly leave this question out because there is so many. This is like one of the most this is like one of the questions that have the most like. So, keeper of the world. Do you currently have a girlfriend? No. Have you been into the arcade before? Right, of course, yes. It's like a childhood thing, right? In fact, I was just there like 2 or 3 days ago, right? I just finished my exam and I'm okay, I'm done with exam. I'm gonna go relieve some stress. You know what I mean? Yup, like certain games I have to go to the arcade to play, right? Like Jubit, right? I'm pretty much those people that go to the arcade to play these few games, right? Jubit, Midnight Maximum Tune, right? It's at 5DX now or something. I just went back and play, got myself the crown of Nagoya and Fukuoka area. Yeah, haven't lost my touch. Yeah, so arcade definitely, and yeah, I'm gonna go there pretty much. I won't say often, but there is an arcade near my school, so whenever I have the free time and I don't need to study or I don't need to study certain stuff, I'll be there to release some stress. So let's take a break from some TOS question and then let's answer a pretty much non-related TOS question, right? Ophelie Gaston, which is the name of one of the Chronos Gate characters. For a newbie in Overwatch, what heroes do you recommend trying? Any further tips for the game? Right, and what's my average ping? Heard some complaints that sometimes the ping is 200 plus when not connected to Singapore server in the American region. Right, so first and foremost, I would say that just connect to whatever region the game recommends you to pretty much avoid getting like high pings and lags and stuff like that. Right, you're being assigned to that that server for a reason. Right, like personally, I'm in Singapore. Singapore is part of Asia, but there's a Asia server, but for some reason Singapore is under American server, so just play in American server, right? Nothing wrong with that. I've been playing American server, and I've been uploading a few Overwatch videos, so you can go check them out in the channel. Right, so answering your main question, what hero do you recommend and stuff like that. Right, so for newbie in Overwatch, you most importantly is you have to work in a team, right? So you have to pretty much practice at least one hero from every class. Alright, so for offensive, you can go and try Soldier 76 or Reaper. These two are pretty much the easier one to grab hold of, right, in terms of their play style. So especially Reaper, 76 is pretty weak as of now, right? So Reaper, defense, not really. You can practice a bit of Mei, a bit of Junkrat, and yeah, you don't really have to focus on defense because that's not the current meta now. So tank, try Diva, right? I recommend Diva because she's the easiest to play and Diva is bae. Right, so, and last but not least, support, try Lucio or Zenyatta. These two are the easier one to play. You can try Mercy as well, but that requires a bit of coordination with the team. Right, so if you are doing like solo queue, you're playing alone, quick play or competitive, do try Lucio or Zenyatta or the rest of the heroes that I mentioned in the different classes, right? And then hopefully you can do well, in your quick play or competitive game, right? All the best to you. Okay, so off to the next question. We have Stefan here asking, Elf has always been a utility card, except for Diablo and Lucy team, which are not that comparable to other high damage team. Do you think MadHead will VR them soon? Right, so first and foremost, I think no, not really. I don't think VR is going to come to them anytime soon because they are still very relevant in the current game. right? So I would say that you can't compare races like that because they are like this for a reason, right? Like dragons, high HP pool, you can see that their damage isn't that consistent, right? They constantly need Ursula burst and stuff like that. So you can see that every single mono races, if you're talking about races, have their pros and cons, right? Like elves, talking about Diablo or even Lucy, right? The two teams that you have mentioned. Yes, they are the more offensive setup in terms of just pure elves, but notice that their one weakness is double attack, right? Any double attack comes from the enemy, these two teams are dead for sure. Alright, so for Diablo at least, it's gonna be dead for sure. So for dragons, high HP pool, but they're pretty much their weakness will be like the 90% poison, 90% HP reduction and stuff like that. They still have a weakness, right? So I would say the more balanced one are humans and demons, because their stats are pretty much very all-rounder, right? Maybe demons having slightly higher attack and HP slightly lesser, but they still work out somehow, right? But as I mentioned, demons high attack, low HP, meaning they are kind of paperish somehow. Humans are the more balanced one, but notice that they need some sort of booster like 3 Enchantress and stuff like that in order to get their big burst damage as well, right? So if you exclude the 3 Enchantress, you can see that their damage are pretty much very mediocre as well, comparable to Lucy or even dragon teams. So mono gods, not really, because you have to put in a bit of this and that somehow, somewhere. So mono gods, not really. So you get what I mean, right? Different races work differently, and then there is no way you can actually compare teams like this, because they all perform in their own unique way, and by making them equal, it just spoils the entire game, right? They are different for a reason. Yeah, so I feel that Madhead is doing a very good job on that, and hopefully they do not release any new cards that will pretty much spoil the meta, right? I feel that the new companion of Beast series is pretty strong, pretty OP, I would say. Especially Hazard. Seriously, Hazard needs to be nerfed, man. Okay, maybe I'm a bit salty because I do not have Hazard. Alright, so next question, we have a question from Dylan. So he asks, can you give me some setups of Atrahasis and Azazel, as I got them through Diamond Seal recently? Right, so I picked this question because I know some of you guys who probably will ask me the same thing, so I decided to put this in as a Q&A session. Right, so Atrahasis and Azazel, one being Babylonian and the other one is Origin of Demons. They pretty much have a few common members, right? Other than Atrahasis, you can put in Anu, and Azazel you can put in Belial if you have them in your collection. Alright, so common cards you can slot in is pretty much like Pisces, Cassandra, Molly, or the recent Ultimate Stage Maskman. Right, I know that Maskman is a very, very good card, right? Although it gives you 0 recovery for 3 turns, but you get a 1.8 team attack, and it's CD7, right? Very massive card, so I recommend you guys to put that in, and yeah, I think it works out fine. Right, so one thing I feel that Azazel is a bit lacking in terms compared to Atrahasis is the HP, right? Being dual Azazel means that it's gonna cripple your HP by a lot. So what I suggest is, for Azazel team, you might want to slot in a PR Gemsa if you have, right? So you can launch like some sort of crazy massive attack or extra attacks for Gemsa's active skill, right? I think it works somehow, right? So Cassandra, Pisces, Molly and stuff like that, you can mix and match, and then eventually you have a pretty good team there, right? So if you need some sort of like healing, you can slot in Muyue or Yuki Onna and stuff like that. So it all depends on the team. So I list out a few examples or a few cards that you can actually slot into these teams, right? I think I've stated like more than enough team members for you to slot in, right? So as I mentioned, it's all based on what you are attempting, what stage are you attempting, and then yeah, just slot the cards accordingly. So what I always tell my the people that ask me about team building is that what I tell them is basically you have to learn to build the team yourself, right? I can give you like a rough example of a team setup, but after that it's up to you to form your own team, because forming your team is part of learning the game as well, right? You learn what's the pros and cons of the team, and then from there you understand the team better, and then that's how you advance through the stage, because you build the team, you know what's the weakness of your team. Simple, right? So Dylan, all the best in forming your Atreus and Azazel team, right? Hopefully you can use these two teams to take down future ultimate stages. So we've come to the last and final question of this session, right? Hopefully this entire Q&A session isn't too long for your viewing pleasure. So we have two pretty much a very similar question here, so I've decided to put them together in one question, right? So Isaac asked, what will I do if TOS decided to stop updating, right? And then Darren's, he asked, what do you do if your TOS data got erased completely, right? So for Darren's part, TOS data got erased completely, right? I personally know a few staff from MedHead, and they are in charge of this kind of stuff, right? So there is no problem for me to recover my data in any case that I lost my account and stuff like that, right? So if TOS decided to stop updating, like they're gonna close down the game and stuff like that, is inevitable, right? I can't do anything. It's not like I'm friends with Terry, hey, I'm like, hey, don't close down the game and stuff like that, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, and then we'll just all have to move on to other games, right? So as of now, the game is pretty healthy. It's been going on, and the player base is still there, it's growing. So I don't see the day that this is happening as of now, right? So hopefully my data don't get erased, obviously, because it's just like a very tedious process. Like I'm just gonna go and email MedHead like, hey, what's going on, and stuff like that. It's gonna take up so much time, and perhaps you guys are gonna miss a few weeks of videos because I have no account to play with. Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much concludes the Q&A session for October. I'm so glad I'm like early this time, so I'm not recording this Q&A session for during like November, right? So I'm glad it's up on time. So thank you guys for sending in the questions once again. So this Q&A is once again a success. So before I end this video, I want to make like an announcement, right? Those of you guys who are living in Malaysia, I know that there is a TOS Xirius event that's going on the 31st of October at Selangor, Sampao Selangor. I don't know the exact place, right? But I'll be there, right? If you guys don't know yet, right? I'll be going down to the event and then to interact with a few of you guys, right? So I'll be looking forward to that. I'll try my best to make a vlog or pretty much live stream on my page, Facebook page. So if you guys are not in Malaysia or in Malaysia but is giving the event a miss, can probably tune in to my Facebook page whenever I'm live. You guys can pretty much see what's going on over there, right? I'll try my best to record whatever that is available there. I'm not sure how busy I'll be, but I'll be there. The event's on 31st October, but I'll be there on the 28th, to do a bit of walking around, shopping and stuff like that. Yeah, so pretty much that's it for this Q&A session. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Leave a like if you did, and then keep your questions coming in, right, for the month of November. And then once again, I'll make another Q&A video for you guys. Right, so as of now, I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys in my next video. Bye bye.